Uh, See, this pure virtual function simply you are assigning to that virtual function you are assigning to 0. Okay, so that you are just declaring that function inside class. Okay, that virtual function you are calling it as a pure virtual function. Pure virtual function does not having the definition. Okay, that particular pure virtual function you are going to override inside derived class. Okay, you are not going to write here with inside derived class, so that you can use that particular pure virtual function. Okay, see, thing is, if you are writing virtual function inside the class, if you are writing virtual function inside the class, that means that particular class will become abstract. Okay, here a is there, right? A is an abstract class. Okay, because you have written virtual function inside this particular class A. Okay, here abstract class is a class which consists at least one pure virtual function. Okay, Ab- abstract class is a class that consists at least one pure virtual function. It may have some other member functions also, but it must has at least one pure virtual function. Okay, pure virtual, how you can write pure virtual function, this is the way. Okay, virtual, some return type, and function equals to 0, you are assigning equals to 0. You are not writing any definition for that pure virtual function. Okay, you are simply assigning to 0, so that you are making that function as a pure virtual function. Now this particular class, here A is there, right? This A is, you can call it as abstract class. Okay, because abstract class has at least one pure virtual function, so that that particular class you can call it as pure virtual, sorry, abstract class. See, by using abstract class you are achieving this abstraction. Okay, data abstraction means you are simply showing the essential features to the user, and you are hiding background details of your actual thing. Okay, the same way, if you observe this class A having one pure virtual function, that means you are just showing the some function declaration only. You are not showing the exact definition of that particular function. Actual definition you are going to write inside derived class. Okay, actual definition you are going to write inside the derived class. You are not writing any definition inside abstract class. Inside that particular class you are not writing, you are just simply declared that particular function. Okay, that particular function you are overriding inside derived class. Okay, I will just show one example how you can achieve this abstraction by using this pure virtual function. Okay, see, consider I have one class base. Okay, I have one class base. Inside I have one private member X and public member. One pure virtual function is there. Okay, this is the way you can write. If it is a normal function, okay, if it is a normal function, you need to write like this, right? Some void fun. Okay, here you will write some code, but I'm just making this particular function void fun is as a pure virtual function. You need to assign that particular virtual function to 0 in this way. Okay, I will just now see this particular function. I'm saying that it is a pure virtual function. Okay, how you can say, I'm just assigning this virtual function to 0. I'm not writing any definition here. Okay, I'm just assigning this to 0, so that you can call it as a pure virtual function. Now observe, this base class is become abstract class. Okay, this base class is a abstract class now. How you can say this is abstract class means, if any class having at least one pure virtual function, so that that class you can say it is abstract class. Simple definition, what is abstract class means, abstract class is a class, okay, which consists at least one pure virtual function like this. Okay, this is a pure virtual function, right? this particular base class now having like pure virtual function. Okay, so that you are calling this base class as a like abstract class. Now, by using this particular abstract class, you are achieving abstraction, data abstraction. How you can achieve data abstraction means, see, by seeing this particular base class, okay, you are just showing some essential things. Means, this is the function I'm going to use, but I'm not showing the exact definition of this particular function. Okay, I'm hiding the definition. I'm writing the definition inside derived class. Okay, I'm not sure writing inside base class. Okay, I'm just writing definition of this virtual function inside derived class. Okay, I'm just showing the some function definition to the user, but I'm hiding the like I'm just showing the function declaration to the user. I'm hiding the definition of that particular function. Okay, that is called data abstraction. By using abstract classes, you are going to achieve this particular data abstraction. See, you have written one virtual function, pure virtual function inside base class. This pure virtual function, you must override inside derived class. Okay, you must override this particular function inside derived class. Okay, how you can override? Same signature you need to maintain. Okay, same return type and function name is same, and even parameters also same. Okay, that you need to override inside derived class. Just observe here, class derived, I'm just deriving from base. Okay, class derived is a new class, I'm deriving from base class. Okay, now if you observe here, I'm just overriding, okay, that fun function. Okay, this void fun is there, right? This function I'm just overriding inside derived class. Okay, I have written some code for this. Okay, inside base class you have only pure virtual function. Okay, you are not writing any definition that you are overriding this particular pure virtual function inside derived class. Okay, in this way you can write pure virtual functions, okay, inside one class. If you are writing that pure virtual function means that class will become abstract. Okay, if you are writing pure virtual function in particular class means in derived class you must override that particular function. Suppose if I am not override this pure virtual function, what happens? Okay, just I'm commenting this thing. I'm just commenting this function. I'm not override this pure virtual function inside derived class, what happens is this particular derived class also will become abstract. Okay, this particular class also will become abstract. You can see if I compile this code, you can see you are unable to create object. Okay, one point you need to remember here, if it is a abstract class, okay, if it is an abstract class, you cannot instantiate that particular class. Instantiation means creating object. Okay, you cannot instantiate that particular class. Okay, that means you cannot create object for abstract classes. Okay, you cannot create object for abstract classes because you have the virtual function, okay, without any definition. Okay, how you can create, how you can allocate memory for this particular member function. That is the reason for abstract classes you cannot create objects. Very important point. Okay, in your interviews also in Java also this concept is there. For abstract classes you cannot create objects. Okay, see, then if you are deriving this particular base class to derived class, now you can create derived class like this. Okay, see, if you are deriving one class from base class, whatever the virtual functions that you have inside base class, those functions, those virtual functions you must override in all its derived classes. Okay, for example, here I have derived class derived one. Suppose derived one class is there. The same way, I have one more class derived. Just copying this entire thing. I'm deriving one more class. Okay, derived two from base class only. Okay, in this derived 2 also you must override that particular virtual function. Okay, otherwise this particular derived 2 also will become abstract class. Okay, now you can see derived 1 is there. Okay, I have one overridden function fun is there, virtual function fun from derived 1 class. Okay, simple message I'm writing, just observe. Okay, here you have virtual function, you must override that in derived class. Here I just overridden that particular fun function. The same derived 2 also, like I have uh, I'm just this is the z I will take. Okay, I'm just deriving from base class. Same fun function I'm just overridden. Okay, same I will change this text here from this fun function from like derived 2. Okay, now my point is, see, for derived 1 you can create object. Okay, for derived 1 you can create one object d1. Okay, if you see, if I compile this code, you won't get any errors here. Okay, in this compiler you can see zero errors. Suppose if I create object for base class, base b. Okay, now you can see, if I compile this code, you are getting one error. Okay, see in the compile log, cannot declare variable b to b and of abstract type base. Okay, that means you cannot create object for base because this base class is a abstract class. Okay, for abstract classes you cannot create objects. Okay, but you can create a reference variable like pointer. Okay, just like this you can create like this. Okay, you can see now, if I compile, you won't see any error. Now you are seeing zero errors. You can create one pointer variable for abstract classes, but you cannot create object for that particular abstract class. Now next point is, I can create object for derived 2 also. Okay, derived 2 also is there, right? I can create object for derived 2 as well, because this derived 2 also overridden that particular fun function. Now you can see, if I compile, you won't see any error. Okay, zero errors you are getting. Now, now the point is, if I'm not override this particular fun function in derived 2, okay, if I'm not overridden that pure virtual function inside derived 2, what happens? This particular derived 2 also will become abstract class. Okay, see here base class is what like you have virtual function, pure virtual function. That's why base class is abstract class. Okay, now if you are deriving this base class, okay, all derived class must override this particular pure virtual function. Okay, otherwise if you are not overriding that pure virtual function, this derived class also will become abstract now. Okay, now if you see, if I am trying to create object for this derived 2, you will get errors. See, cannot declare variable d to be of abstract type derived 2. Now this derived 2 will become abstract because you are not overridden pure virtual function. Okay, that is the reason like you are getting errors. Okay, these are the points you need to remember when you talk about abstract classes. Okay, simple thing, you, if you are saying any class as abstract, that must consist at least one pure virtual function. You may have many virtual functions also, pure virtual 2 3 pure virtual functions also. If you are writing 2 3 virtual function inside one class, means you must override all the functions inside its derived class. Okay, you must override all the pure virtual functions inside derived class. Otherwise that particular derived class also will become abstract. Okay, the same way, this is the way you can write pure virtual function. Just simply you need to assign that one function to 0. This is the pure virtual function declaration. This particular function is going to override and inside this particular derived class. The same way for base class, for abstract class, you cannot create objects, but you can create like base pointer. A reference variable you can create like this. Okay, star b. In this way, you can like create one reference variable for abstract classes also. But for abstract classes, you cannot create objects. Okay, that is the very important point. Okay, then this is about pure virtual functions and abstract classes. Okay, then we have one more concept, that is like virtual destructor. Okay, this is the last topic in your third unit, virtual destructor. Okay, see, we have the concept like order of constructors and destructors execution is there, right? Can anyone remember? For example, you have base class is there, derived class
Yes,
is there.
sir.
Okay, just see this
Yes,
thing.
sir.
This is the base class. Okay, this is the derived class. In base class, you have one default constructor. This is the default constructor, base. Okay, see, inside base, I have just written one simple statement, cout statement, base class constructor. In the same way, you can write destructor inside your base class in this way. Okay, constructor means name of the constructor same as your objects. Okay, those points you need to remember about constructors. And the destructor is used to destroy your object. So whatever the object you have initialized here by using constructor, that object is going to destroyed by using destructors. Okay. Additionally, we will use till operator. This is the till operator. Same, everything same, but additionally we will use this till operator. Okay, so that we can call it as destructor. Okay, destructors are used to destroy your objects. A constructor is going to execute it at the time of creating your object. Once you are creating object means by default, constructor is going to call. No need to call constructors manually. By default, it is going to call. The same way, destructor is going to call when the scope of that particular object ends. Okay, for example, in main function, if I create any object, okay, once the scope of this main is going to end, at that time by default this destructor is going to call. No need to call this destructor also manually. Okay, by default destructor is going to call when that particular object scope is going to end. At that particular time, that compiler itself is going to call this particular destructor. Okay, now the point is, you have base class and derived class. Inside base class we have one constructor, one destructor, and the same way inside derived class also you have one destructor and constructor. Okay, simple statements I have written here. Okay, can anyone tell uh, how the uh, order of this particular constructors and destructors inside
Certainly.
base
Will
and derived class?
it will be base class constructor, derived class constructor, derived class destructor, and base class destructor.
Yes. See, once I create an object, like first this particular base class constructor is going to call, and then like derived class constructor is going to call. Then when the scope of that particular object is going to end, first it will call like derived class destructor, and then it will destructor. That is the way, right?
Yes,
First
sir.
base class constructor, then derived class constructor. After that, derived class destructor, then base class destructor. Okay, this is the order of execution uh, in base class and derived class. Okay, now for example, I'm just creating one like a reference variable like this for base class. Okay, this is the base, right? I'm not creating object for this base class. I'm creating object for derived class. Okay, if you observe this statement, if anyone remember or not, by using new keyword, you can create objects. Okay, we have two ways you can create objects. But just simple syntax, some class name means, for example, base some b. This is the way you can create object. Or else, by using at the time of running your code, okay, dynamically also you can create objects by using a new keyword. Okay, the way is simple. Some base, some pointer ptr equals to, by using new keyword you can create object like base. This is the way you can create an object dynamically by using new keyword, right? If you remember or not, when we talk about new and delete keyword, I already said we have in two ways we can create objects. Simple syntax, some class name space, or using like new keyword means you need to use this pointers concept. Some class name space pointer equals to new class name. This is the second way you can create objects. Okay, the same way here also I just use uh, one object I'm going to create, but here I'm not going to create object. Okay, see, instead of this statement you can write two statements. Okay, I'm just commenting this thing. Okay, base or some b or ptr. You can create one pointer, you can declare one pointer for base class, right? Okay, this pointer derived some d. Okay, I just created one object for derived class d. Now this ptr equals to unperson d means ptr equals the base class pointer now pointing to derived class object. Okay, this statement is meaning that base class pointer now pointing to derived class object. Instead of writing these three statements, you can write only single statement like this by using this new keyword. You can write these three statements also. Instead of that, you can write a single statement like this, meaning that base class pointer b equals to, okay, b, that pointer is b, equals to new derived, means the right side is object of derived class, the entire thing that you are assigning to this pointer. Okay, don't get confused. These three statements you can combine by with this new keyword. In a single statement you can write like this, or else go with this. As of now we have seen these three things only, right? Just go with this thing. Okay, now thing is, you have one base pointer and derived object. Okay, now your base pointer is pointing to derived class object. Okay, see, object is created. Once object is created means what happens? First it is going to call constructor, then once the scope of that particular object ends means destructor is going to call. Okay, okay, in the previous case I will just remove this delete. I will comment this delete also. Let's see this output. Okay, how the order of this particular base and derived. Okay, can anyone tell?
So it will be now base class constructor, derived class constructor,
Then,
base class destructor, and derived class destructor. Because delete you have commented now, sir.
okay, base class destructor and
Derived class
derived class
destructor.
destructor. Let's see this output once.
Sir, how come derived class destructor came first?
See the thing. One second, just see this
Hmm.
now. This will not be. This is See, I just deleted this object B pointer. Okay. Now see, actually, once you have created object, first it has to call base class constructor. Okay. Now you can see, not this thing. Once you have created object, first you have to, it has to call base class constructor. You can see base class constructor is called. Then derived class constructor. Okay. First base class constructor, derived class constructor. Then if you observe here, base class destructor is called. Actually, it has to call derived class destructor. Then after base class destructor. But it is not calling derived class destructor. Okay. This is the situation like we are getting. Actually, we need to destroy our object D. But when I'm trying to destroy that object, okay, I'm getting this problem. Okay. To overcome, see, if you observe this output, you are not seeing this derived class destructor message because derived class object is not going to destroy. Okay. Because of this reason, okay, you must like destroy object B as well. Okay. To do that, we have the virtual destructor concept. Okay. By using virtual destructor, you can destroy uh, your derived class object by writing virtual destructor inside base class. Okay. Virtual, simple virtual you need to add for your base class like destructor. Now you can see output of this file. Now actual order is executed now. Okay. Base class constructor, derived class constructor. Now like derived class object is destroyed here, means derived class constructor is executed. Now base class constructor is executed. Now actual order we got, right? When you are invoking at the runtime, okay, by using pointers, okay, this derived class object means derived class object is not going to destroy. Okay, to overcome that thing, okay, we are using this virtual destructor concept. Virtual destructor is a destructor that we are going to write inside base class by using virtual keyword. Okay. Virtual keyword you are going to write like this. Okay, if you are writing virtual destructor inside base class means, okay, that B class object is going to destroy, okay, when the scope of that particular object is going to end. Okay, in this way you can like conclude means destroy your derived class object by using virtual destructor. I think one more point, one note here, we have virtual destructors but we don't have virtual constructors. Okay, that point you should remember. We don't have that virtual concept, but we have virtual destructor derived class objects. Okay, this is about virtual destructor. Okay, yeah, right. Simple. If I remove this virtual keyword here, it is a normal destructor. Okay, if it is normal destructor means you are unable to destroy your object derived class object. You can see only it is executing base class destructor. It is not executing derived class object. It is not executing derived class destructor. So then, if you want to perform that particular like destruction operation, simply make your base class destructor as virtual. Okay, so that now your B class destructor is going to execute and it will destroy the object of derived class. Okay, delete B means see you are deleting base class pointer, but it is going to now this base class pointer is pointing to derived class, right? Okay, derived class object. The derived class object is going to destroy now. If I use this delete B means, okay, new keyword is used to allocate memory dynamically and delete keyword is used to deallocate that memory. Okay, in this way you can use this virtual destructor concept. Okay. With this, now, third unit is completed. Okay. If it is possible tomorrow, in one class, I will revise all the topics in third unit. Then we'll start. I'm planning to start fifth unit. Fifth unit is small unit. Okay, it takes hardly 3 to 4 hours. Okay, after that we'll come into fourth unit. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fifth unit easy topics also. Only exception handling is there. Okay. Easy to remember all the concepts.